I'm just gonna cut this thing out. I do not care. I've gone ahead and made some hockey puck motor mounts for this thing. I got a simple game plan for today, and it's to get the Miata actually rolling and able to drive. So I managed to buy an entire front suspension setup for a Miata off of somebody. So I got good control arms, good sway bar, good tie rod ends. There's a rack on there as well, power steering pump. I don't really think I need any of that. Of course, the brakes, brake rotors, and then just in case, the whole front cross member / subframe. Oh, and then also, then I also bought a set of stock shocks as well. So hopefully we can get this front end looking much better than what it's looking right now. Actually get this thing able to drive front and back and turn. The Miata's outside though, and I'm gonna try and bring it in. So hopefully we can accomplish that, because that front end is pretty bad. There's a Golf over here, Miata, let's go. That was awful. Well, at least it's in now. Oh, I also got this seat as well as a passenger brown leather seat off of the same guy that had the whole front subframe. He was just gonna throw these away, and this car didn't have a driver's seat in it, so at least this is like something temporary for now. Finally in the shade. Let's get to work. So looking at this right now, I'm thinking the game plan is to jack up the car, then after that take off the bumper, take off the fender, and then start swapping stuff. See how it goes. Try to jack this thing up. Look at it. Got my... The fuck? Bruh, should I say? Bruh. This is why my old vans become my work vans. Yeehaw, boys. Fast boy. Oh, that's pretty bad. Look at this! Bro! Got that potato peeler action happening on the tire. That's so awesome. Bro. Also check this out. This is like the bumper support all the way through. So the bumper got pushed all the way back and over it. Did not see this one. Cool. Damage report. The driver's side looks like pretty much fine to me. This whole area seems pretty good. Obviously this is the smashy Boyd part. That LCA is definitely bent back. The coilover over here also bent. And I think this upper control arm doesn't even seem that bad, but I'll probably replace it anyways. Sway bar is definitely getting pulled back, so possibly the sway bar might be bent. This end link over here is definitely bent, so at least I have all of that. And I think this front subframe, the mounting points, might be bent back as well. Oh yeah. This is the other side, and yeah, definitely push back on that side. This subframe / cross member over here all seems pretty good. I guess we just gotta get to it. Well, I guess the plan now is to swap over the whole subframe in with all the arms and everything attached, and then should be good. I'm also gonna take off this bumper support. Pretty cool, which I didn't know about Miatas, but they got this whole little plastic skid plate over here. So that thing's pretty cool, boys. that's pretty smashy, Boyd. Interesting. Pretty cool. Bro, look at this. Look at this cotter pin design. I don't know if this is just a Miata thing or it's just like, I'm not aware that there was even these cotter pins, but this is seriously like the sickest thing ever. Seriously dope. In other news, this Koyo Rad radiator looks like it's cracked over here and leaking coolant, hence the puddle. And over here, I'm just gonna disconnect the outer tie rod. I'm gonna disconnect the rack, so I'm gonna leave that in the car so it's still plumbed up and I don't need to, drain any fluid or anything like that. Also, this rack is still good, where the other one isn't. I'm also gonna remove the caliper and leave that to the side, and then after that, just drop everything. That's the plan, at least, right? Because the frame is basically bent from here on over, it's definitely pulling on this. So there's a ton of tension there. And then also that LCA is bent too, which doesn't help. What the hell? How the fuck are you supposed to take out the sway bar? Look at this. You see the shape? They put the sway bar on top of the AC lines, as well as over top of the coolant hose. So it's like, bro, what? I'm just gonna cut this thing out. I do not care. This is why 240s are better. Yeah, that made it pretty easy. Should just about be it. Motherfucker. That's one way, I guess. This went rather interesting. Cross member is out, but the only thing that was holding it in there were the motor mounts. Even though I had unbolted them, for some reason they were just stuck in there really well. I could tell too that when they were in there, I even looked at them a few times, they were still stuck at the bottom here. They weren't really moving or anything. So the motor mounts went and broke. So I can't put the other subframe in now because I got no motor mounts for the engine to sit in. Look at this carnage. Pretty interesting. Tell right here on this upper mount, you see how it's bent back like that. Over here you can see this is nice and straight. This one is all yeehawed. And then you can tell with this mounting point how that's pushed back. See that one? Compared to that one, nice and straight. I actually had a hard time getting that bolt out because it was hitting the metal right there. Obviously that arm is completely tackled. Coilover is nice and bent. So overall, I'm very happy that I picked up this entire front end right here because otherwise if I had just gotten the arms, then I'd pretty much be screwed right now. If only he left the motor mounts on there, right? So when I dropped the subframe, the motor mounts split in half, like that. And I really want to get this car back together and I don't want to have to order mounts and then wait for them to come in. So you guys already know what's up. I've gone ahead and made some hockey puck motor mounts for this thing because it just so happens to be the exact same thickness of all of this added together. So the pinion angle and everything like that in the car is going to be perfectly the same, or at least extremely close. So that worked out very well. And these hockey puck motor mounts are pretty easy to make. They're fairly cheap to make as well. I think I can get like a 12 pack on Amazon, I think for maybe $6 or something around there. But I'll leave a link to Amazon for the hockey pucks, and then I'll also leave a link to a video where I already made hockey puck motor mounts before, so you can go through that whole process because I don't want to cover it again right now. But they are honestly pretty simple. You pretty much get a hockey puck, drill a hole in the center, right? Run a bolt through all that. And then in the end, this is your finished mount over here with the bolt going through. Sandwiching over here. Make sure you have enough thread engagement for your nut. And boom, there you go, hockey puck motor mount. Also in the video where I cover making these motor mounts, I also talk about the hardness of them because a lot of people are like, isn't that equivalent to solid mounts? And forget the specifics, so I'm probably gonna have to refer to that video myself. But pretty much these are the equivalent in hardness to what a lot of the race motor mounts out there are. So the aftermarket motor mounts that usually you buy for $100 or so, usually about the same hardness as a hockey puck. So this isn't really solid mounted, this is just kind of stiffer than stock. That covers the motor mounts, but here's the front subframe. So I got it all stripped down. I took off the rack and power steering pump that was with it. I took off their spare brake calipers and rotors. So I'll just clean it up a little bit, and then we can stab her in the car. Yeah, dude. Okay, so I'm not a fan of the Miata motor mounts and how they're designed from factory. So basically, it wasn't able to hold the nut in here or the bolt in here, whichever way, in order to tighten the whole setup. So what I ended up doing was just welding the bolt to the motor mount. I just painted over them so that way they don't rust, and then that way they're on there. So I just got to slip the hockey pucks on, and then put the subframe on there, and then tighten the bolts on that. So I don't have to hold anything now on the motor mount. And this is why 240s are just better. Today's been quite the day, and I'm not gonna lie, I was honestly struggled quite a lot with putting this engine back in, or actually the whole cross member back in, and then getting the engine to align up and everything like that. And I think it's because the hockey puck motor mounts are like maybe a hair bigger than factory. Also, as you can see down there, the whole hole for the bolt is like all the way that long, but Mazda has a piece of metal right there, so you can only get it into one hole on the driver's side, which means then on the passenger side, you got this whole slot, right? So had there been this slot on both sides, then the mount would have been so much easier to go in, and it would have slipped in and sat like lower on both sides, but instead it's locking it in one place over there. So that means this side is gonna sit, obviously that much higher than the other side. So the engine has a little bit of a slant now. Not really a big deal though, because hockey puck mounts, off-road Miata build, not really that concerned. And then just also in general, getting the subframe in was kind of a little bit of a hassle to get it to sandwich up and over these bolts. It's taking forever to line up. Well, enough complaining. Got the whole subframe in here. The rack is tightened down. Got the tie rods in. Got the rotors on, calipers on. Pretty much everything good to go. And I'm not putting the sway bar back on here because I want to have that like independent, like sand rail type front suspension on here. Don't want to have no sway bar up front. No boys. But yeah, last thing to do, install the stock Mazda Miata shocks. And hopefully this thing will be able to roll out over here and not have 20 degrees of toe difference. No idea how this goes. What a fucking hoe. One last thing and it couldn't go in easy. Bro, are you fucking kidding me? Do I really need a spring compressor for this shit? Okay, so I undid the LCA. I'm assuming it should be, oh fuck, I'm running out of energy. Cool. You know what? You just use it like that. That's chill. Cool. Fuck me, man. For the love of fucking asshole. Come on. Bitch. Fuck. Things like this are funny because had I taken apart Miata suspension before, I probably would have been like, oh, super easy, you know what I mean? Undo lower control arm, I can pull it out, put the shock in, put it back up, not a big deal. Don't have that experience, so you gotta learn it firsthand, which is time consuming. Bro, this thing already looks lit. Look at that. Look at that. Now imagine if I put some 1 foot extended control arms. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. It's like always in the beginning of working, I'm wearing gloves. And the gloves rip, and then I need to feel out a hole or something, and this is what happens. And this is probably the 7th or 8th time I've washed my hand today. And there's the other one. Gonna wash up a bit, and then yeah. Fenders on there just sitting as is for now, kind of like for storage. I haven't really decided if I'm gonna run fenders or not. Yeah, let's see if she rolls. Oh, can push it, which is good because the battery's dead, so you pretty much need a clutch dump it to start it. Sitting nice and high. thing's actually pretty preppy. Peppy. Drive's actually really nice. Litty, boys. Litty. I think I prefer it with the fenders off. Honestly, it looks way cleaner that way. This is so lit, dude. So lit. So yeah, there we have it. Okay, so there we have it for now. The Miata's rolling, which is good. It honestly, it feels really nice. The engine is very strong. And I'm really stoked to continue this build because it is gonna be very, very fun to off-road this car. I know quite a few people have done the off-road Miata thing, but what they don't do is make like a long travel Miata. All they kind of do is maybe just install the little Paco Motorsports like lifts for the struts and then put some bigger wheels and tires on it, and that's pretty much it. What I want to do though is it's either cut and extend or just make all new control arms that are 1 foot wider than stock on each side. So that way it's the same nice suspension geometry, but just a lot more travel involved. And I think that's gonna make the car so much fun. So we'll see if I can accomplish this task. Let me know what you guys think about all this. But to keep updated, make sure you're subscribed. And if you're already subscribed, make sure you have notifications on. Follow me on Instagram at offbeat_garage. And of course, make sure to check out the store, offbeatgarage.com. Anyways, I'm gonna enjoy the triumph of getting this thing rolling again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.